Hello. Recording in progress. It's always good to hear that, isn't it? So we are in a first line day. It is gate 39, a new gate, and we are in the first line that is called disengagement. So the foundation for the gate of provocation is to disengage. It's the basis of provocation, and it tells you so much about the human spirit, which is the gate on the other side. Nothing causes us greater pain than abandonment. Nothing really causes us greater pain than that feeling of like we've been left behind, we've been rejected. This is deeply provoking because the spirit which lies within the 55th gate can open up to the emotional awareness that spirit is inherently there to interconnect us. Ra said that he used to try to find a way for students to describe the nature of how emotional awareness can operate. And the first thing to begin to recognize is that emotional awareness will come into the world through those who are emotionally defined. So there is going to be a basic genetic difference at that point between those who are emotionally defined and those who are not. So imagine that you have all these emotionally defined beings and they're carrying within them a genetic mutation, one that opens up the neural potential of the solar plexus. Every emotional being generates a wave. So you have two emotional beings in each other's aura, and they're each generating an emotional wave. And that wave is a motor field. It's the energy of the motor at work. But even within the energy of that motor lies the potential for awareness, always. He said that he didn't know what the experience will be for them. But what will happen is that as those waves pass each other, there is an interactive field between the waves. And this is where awareness is. We have within us two forms of awareness that are already functioning. We have the splenic awareness that is so strictly internal that it can only have concerns for our very being itself. And it's aware that it's not dependent on anything else. And then we have our mental awareness in the ajna. As we get to the ajna, we begin to open up to the possibility or the reality that we are not alone and that our awareness is something we can share through that mental interaction that we have. But we share it from our fixed perspective. We remain separate in the way that we share our mental awareness. We have our opinions, our insights, our beliefs and ideas. But even though the other may accept those, may even agree with those, we know within ourselves that the real meaning and values inherent in that are different. We're not the same awareness coming to the same conclusion. We are different awarenesses coming to the same conclusion. When you get to the emotional awareness, that emotional awareness will operate as a whole. When you meet in the wave, you lose yourself. You lose your own awareness. You enter into a fused or synthesized awareness. And this is quite different. It is the beginning of us being able to come together as a totality, to link together as a totality. But Ra did say that this awareness wouldn't be for us, that humans would only ever experience the solar plexus as a motor. The awareness potential of the solar plexus will be experienced by the rave only. And the rave will also have the penta experience too. So one rave on their own will almost be, from what we know, what we're projecting onto this is that they will be almost a helpless being. But when you have three or more together, will meld together and they will share awareness. They will share that spirit, emotional awareness. Now, it might be that there is a difference then between emotional awareness that we can share as humans and the spiritual awareness that will solely be the purview of the rave. But this is something that we'll really come to know when the mutation has kicked in and held. And then we will know what we're experiencing. From this point, we can't know. But if we go back to this line of disengagement, it's really interesting that we're told the way to provoke the human spirit is by disengaging. In the exaltation, we have the determination when confronted by obstacles to withdraw, but only temporarily. The energy to provoke by refusing to confront obstacles. So the basis of provocation is to back away. And this can be the deepest provocation of all. This is not about having a motive to disturb the other. It is a way to establish where the spirit for this being in its life is. So in the detriment, we have disengagement with an accompanying indecision as to when to re-engage. The refusal to confront obstacles without the capacity to know when to engage. Indecision is also a provocation. So it's the same principle, really, it's the same thing. But here, the indecision is also a provocation. You're not sure about what you should or shouldn't do, and you don't know what the consequences are. And should you re-engage? Should you not re-engage? When should you re-engage? But really, it's just about being yourself. All of these things. Just be yourself. This is the message that comes through again and again. It's just about living out your nature. And of course, this is lower trigram, so it's introspective, and it's really looking for the perfect provocation. What is the perfect provocation? How can I express the perfect provocation? And you dig into that, finding out all about that, especially in this line 1. It's investigating the perfect provocation. I should give them my brother's phone number, actually. They had it down pat. So as we heard in the overview, if you've listened to that, do listen to that. It has a slightly different sort of information in it because it looks at the gate as a whole. But the 39 is, as it's in the sun, it's grounded in the earth by the 38. And in the 38 line 1, we have qualification. So this is about a temporary opposition that is based on the circumstances. And this is the foundation of struggle. And it's the grounding for the line of disengagement. So you could actually substitute opposition for disengagement and immediately get a sense for how the 38 grounds the 39 through tempering the disengagement based on circumstances. In other transit weather, we have Mercury moving into gate 56 at 12:33. This is the gate of stimulation. It's the storyteller, it's the wanderer. It's a throat gate that has the voice of I believe or I don't believe. It's a collective gate, so it is focused on experience and telling the stories about an experience that they've had or that they've heard about. Things that have been made sense of through the processes of the head and the ajna. It's a projector gate, so this tells us that stories should only be shared by invitation. So the moon is still in gate 3, I think. Yes, it is still in gate 3, which is a sacral gate, of course. And it's moving into gate 27 at 16:25. So this is the gate of nourishment, the gate of caring, a sacral gate that strives for the enhancement of the quality and the substance of all activities through caring. So there can be an innate compassion for and an instinct to protect and nourish those who need guidance and care and support. And this is the gate that tells us that we must never lose sight of our own needs, that we must never give away more than we have, because overextension and depletion are no good to anybody. And then we move into gate 24 at 2:05 tomorrow morning. This is the return. This is the gate of rationalization, an ajna gate where we find the natural and the spontaneous process of transformation and renewal. It's an individual gate, and it's so it's in that central column, and it's in the ajna. It's about thinking, it's about processing, and it is bound, genetically bound to contemplate until a concept becomes clear. And then it has the potential to impact others. So this gate is in the same circuit as our Sun Earth. So it has that pulse energy, and it operates in the present moment, and it can be quite melancholic when there's no pulse, when there's no inspiration coming through to rationalize, and there's just the return to the concept and the return to the process of mulling it over and mulling it over and mulling it over again and again and again. This is our weather. Thank you very much for watching, for listening, and I will see you for line 2 in our gate of provocation tomorrow. And until then, as always, go gently.